Hey!
This is Tyler.
And Kristen.
This is the Family in the Forest podcast.
And we're so excited that you're here.
Can't wait for this journey.
With you.
That's so good. That's so good. That was take one. That was perfect. So in this podcast that you're about to hear, this is me and my wife talking about the Monterey trip. You can watch the full video in the description. But this Family in the Forest podcast, when we are talking about this, we're really diving into more of our relationship aspects. I'll talk a little bit about bikes, but this isn't necessarily a cycling at all thing. This is more about the struggles of a father, of a mother, of a wife, and a husband, and it's raw, it's real. We're going to talk about some things that might get a little uncomfortable, but we're strong in our relationship, and we're going to air out our dirty laundry right here. It's kind of like a couple's therapy session. So I hope you enjoy, and I honestly really think it's healthy to show all sides of a relationship, all sides of us, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Family in the Forest podcast. This is episode 1. This is the first one. How amazing is that? I've wanted to do a podcast with my wife for a long time, and it's just one of those things you kind of always put on the back burner. But my wife had a brilliant idea today, actually, which she said we should podcast about the video you just posted. So whatever the vlog or video that entails her, right? If it's a cycling tip thing, we're not going to do that, but get her side and more about the video, because these videos, honestly, if I would have told everything that happened, they'd be 10-hour long videos. And so taking everything, condensing it down into 15 minutes, there's so much that's left out. And if you are interested more in like the family aspect of these videos, or want to know more,
or the dirt,
get my wife's, the stuff I cut out, the stuff that I didn't let my wife say on camera. This is going to be it, man. This is going to be a really good like companion to the Vegan Cyclist channel. So this is episode 1. This is the Monterey trip, which the video is called Finding Balance. So if you haven't seen that video, you can check it out in the description. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the whole Monterey trip. So, babe, say hi.
Hi, hello.
Babe is a hero without a cape. I say that a lot. Today is an example of that, where she was just manning down our daughter Winter almost all day, and now it's late. It's 10 o'clock at night, and the wife wants to go to sleep because she's a narcolept, and but we're gonna podcast, and so she might fall asleep during this. But that's not joking. So Monterey, we decided to go to Monterey Friday night.
Yeah, like 11 o'clock at night, I think it was. You asked me to find a hotel while I was in bed, ready for bed.
That it is true. It was just a very spur of the moment thing. I mean, literally like 11 o'clock. It was like, hey, what do you think? And the whole thing behind that was that there was a mountain bike race that was going to happen on Saturday, but it was raining, and I just wasn't really like that motivated. And I know that you've kind of felt a little cooped up with Winter. We haven't really. It felt like a long time since we had done anything kind of neat.
I love being cooped up, but Monterey is a perfect place to go because you have the beach, and it's always going to be nice.
But Monterey, we've gone to Monterey several times, and often it doesn't seem like you're super stoked.
Well, I mean, often we go, and me and Ethan are at the beach for an hour, and it's freezing. So when we make a weekend out of it, it's nice, because me and Ethan get to do more things, but it's always me and Ethan, and so, it's whatever.
But so yeah, we usually just go for the day, but this time we were going to stay the night, and we got a hotel in Carmel. So when I said, hey, book a hotel in Monterey, very close to Monterey is a place called Carmel, or even Carmel Valley or Carmel Village, which is super foo-foo. Can you explain? Because it's so you, right? If anyone knows you, it's like Carmel is so you. What is it about Carmel that is you?
I like the little tiny houses that look like cottages. It looks like a Thomas Kincaid picture, which his gallery is down there, and we went and saw it. And then I like that you can walk to the beaches right there, and then you could walk to town. It's all like within 10 minutes of walking.
It is, but you booked a hotel that was not. And it's expensive. And usually it's like, hey, let's not spend a ton of money on a hotel. But it was late at night, and I was like just feeling happy. So I told you, just ball out, buy whatever, get whatever hotel wherever you want. And then you said in Carmel, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I sent you a gif of like me raining money. And then what made you choose that one?
Well, I was
nowhere
looking,
near the village.
I know. I don't know why. I was looking on Expedia, and I typed in Carmel, and then there were all these hotels which are super expensive, like $400, and then this one was not a lot of money, and it looked super nice, and I just assumed Carmel was Carmel. I didn't know there was Carmel Valley way far away.
So the spur of the moment type stuff for you does. Like, I love it. I love spur of the moment, right off, let's just go right now. Like tonight. In the next 10 minutes, let's pack up and go to Vegas. I love that type of stuff. But you more like to plan everything out.
Yeah, and if I was gonna book a hotel in Carmel, it probably would have took me half the day, because I would have sat on the computer and looked at all the hotels and compared them and done all this research, but I was trying to do it really quickly because they were getting booked real quick, and it was 11 o'clock at night.
You're such a sucker for you're such a sucker
it's
for
like
the expedient.
4 people are looking at this.
That's so funny. It's so funny, and I feel like it's just a scam, because as soon as I scroll onto one, it's like boop, just got purchased. It's like really, but okay, so
and then it's a lot of work, getting everything packed is another thing I don't like about being spontaneous. Is it takes so long to get everything packed for everybody.
Well, when did we plan to go? So it was Friday night, but then we were going to try to get out by 11?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Something like that, cuz it's a 3-hour drive. So how?
Yeah, because we got there at 3, I think.
Right, and I had to do some work. I had to work before we went. But what is it like when you have to get everything ready?
So getting everything washed, waiting for that to dry, because for some reason our dryer takes forever, and then trying to figure out food that we're going to take, trying to pack Winter's bag, trying to pack Athens' bag, then trying to pack my clothes and everything that goes with it. And then on top of that, having Winter, who doesn't want to be sat down, and then you're working, so then it's a little difficult. Trying to get her for a nap takes like 30 minutes, and just everything takes so long, so it's difficult.
It is difficult, but it's difficult on so many different fronts, because you got to get everything ready, and if you forget her bottle, like game over. You know what I mean? Like you can't forget anything like that. And then I need to get all my stuff ready. You need to get the bike ready and my gear ready. So, and then again, we were working, but it was raining and cold here. So we were packing everything up. Our son Athen is zero help. Like he's naked. We're like, dude, we need to go in 5 minutes, and he's naked playing video games. And it's like, dude, come on, man. And so, it is what it is. But so getting in the car and traveling with just Athen, as a 7-year-old, amazing.
Quiet.
Just like give him a phone or whatever, or he'll just hang out and look out the window. But with Winter, I mean, Winter's pretty aggressive in the car until she falls asleep. How long do you think about how to try to get her to fall asleep towards the car ride? Like, do you plan out her naps at all?
Yeah, but when we're leaving at 11, I mean, her naps are at certain times. So if we're leaving at a certain time, well, it's probably going to mess up her nap. But normally she can, on a trip, have a bottle and then fall asleep for at least a couple hours. But when the trip's 3 hours, then she'll normally wake up and not be happy.
Yeah, she sleeps like 2 hours, like a solid 2 hours is good. But then that 2 to 3 hour window gets a little difficult. And you just don't want to stop. When we went to Chico, I mean, we probably stopped 4 or 5 times on the way to Chico, which made the trip just so long. Felt like forever.
And it's hard when you stop because then it's like such a tease to her. Like, you get to get out for 5 minutes, but then you got to get back in. So it's almost better to just go and be done with it.
So we're in the car, and I smash you at the ABC game like I always do.
Because you're a cheater.
You call me a cheater, but you're just so bummed that you lose all the time.
You weren't even playing by the rules.
You're
supposed to say what the letter is or what the word is. You were not doing that because you were just making up stuff.
I wasn't making up stuff, but I don't know how you can keep your mind on the letter. You go from A.
Because I learned the alphabet when I was in elementary school.
I guess I don't know what the alphabet is, but you can go A, apple, B, boy, C,
because I'm thinking
Charlie.
about it in my head. A, B, C, D.
I know, but I have to say it out loud. I have to, if I'm on, say, K, and then I hit, whatever, I see a sign that says walk. So I'm like, boom, K. I don't know what the next letter is.
Yeah, but can't you pick up, like, from H, H-I-J-K?
I can pick up from El Lameno. You know what I mean? But I can't. So there's 2 sections. I either start from A or I start from L. But so then I have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
it's very
L.
annoying.
Okay. And then I do that all the time, every letter. So I'm like, D, dog, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, E, Edward, A, B, C, D, E, F. It's crazy.
Yeah, but you don't say D, dog, E, Edward. You say D, E.
I mean, it's speed. So you got to go fast in the game.
That's part of the game, is that you have to take the time to say the word.
Well, I smashed you. And we get to Carmel Valley, or village. Valley?
Carmel Valley.
Valley.
And everybody was mad. Well, you were mad because
I wasn't mad. I just thought I'm going to get huge bonus points, huge kudos for allowing you to pick your hotel in the village, and that you'd be able to walk and do all these things so that I could ride my bike without feeling guilty. So to have you be able to have so much stuff to do. But then we were just sort of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. It was pretty, but it was still in the middle of nowhere.
So when we get there, you get Winter out, and it smells like flowers. It smelled amazing. But then the hotel was okay. I honestly, for the money and for where it was located, I mean, it wasn't like super special as a room. The little balcony thing was cool.
Right. It was pretty. It would probably be pretty if it was like you and your husband on a getaway trip or something like that. Because it was very remote, it seemed like.
You sold me on a sauna, though. You were like, they have a sauna.
That's what I was looking forward to. I don't work there. I don't know. It said on the website, a sauna. I also would have loved to enjoy a sauna.
There was no sauna. We never found a sauna. That was a bummer. I really wanted to be in a sauna. Not a spa, like a dry sauna. So then we get there, and it's pretty late. I think we got there at 4. Mm-hmm. And, I just had figured we were going to be in the village so that my ride, I was just going to do a small little 1-hour ride around the village. There wasn't going to be any places for me to ride. I wasn't expecting the greatest road I've ever ridden on. So I get on Strava. I see this little loop. It's like 20 miles. and some sweet. I'll go do this while you guys. I thought you guys were going to go to the village or go do something.
Right.
I take off, and I embark upon a memory that I will never forget. It was just an amazing journey, but my phone was dead, and I got a text from you.
I thought you had no service.
Yeah, I had no service. That's what I mean.
The story changes.
The story changes. No, I got a text from you that said something like, "When are you going to be back?" And then I shared my location on Facebook with you to try to show you where I was. But so then what was happening? Why did you just hang out in the room?
Well, we didn't hang out in the room, but Athen wanted to go to the pool, so then we went to the pool. And then we were going to go to the beach. And by now it'd probably been like 15, 20 minutes. So then when I looked where the beach was, it was 20 minutes away. So I thought, well, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, that's 40 minutes. And then we would be able to be at the beach for what, like 15, 20 minutes? So I thought, well, I will text you and say, how long do you think you're going to be gone for? Because the beach is going to be too far to go. We will wait for you to get back, and then we can all go early. And then I didn't hear anything from you. So then we walked around. I think we walked for like 45 minutes or an hour. We went on a walk because Winter was tired, but she wasn't falling asleep. So then we came back, and then probably for 30 minutes, we just hung out in the room. Because Winter was just crying because she was tired.
So are you just steaming at this point that I haven't texted you back and I told you I was going to be an hour and it's 2 hours at this point? You haven't heard from me?
I wasn't steaming, but I was a little frustrated because we definitely could have had time to go to the beach and come back. It's just we were going to leave and go to dinner at the beach. You know what I mean? So driving 20 minutes there, back, to then go back there, I would be more okay with waiting for you. But if I would have known you were going to be gone for 2 hours, then we would have just gone.
But there's so many times that I tell you I'm going to be gone for an hour and then I'm gone for 2.
I know, and I figure that. But then I don't want to be at the beach, have just gotten there, and you'd be like, what the fuck, where are you? We need to get ready to go to dinner. And then it's like, well, crap, now I got to drive 20 minutes?
When would I ever say that? When would I ever be so mad at I would never come back and be like, what the heck, babe? We're supposed to be at dinner. Like, I told you that we were going to go to dinner with Adam and Chris and Hannah.
Around 7.
7 to 8. It was a very loose... Look, we haven't really even set plans.
But there was set plans without me knowing, because then we had to leave the minute you got back.
Well, because he set those plans like 10 minutes before I got back. I got a text and he said 7, be there. And I was like, oh. But I went on, and in the video it's so hard to show because there's so many other parts to what makes a ride amazing. You know nothing of this, but it's not just the visuals. It's the temperature, it's the smell, it's the scenery, it's the sounds, it's how you're feeling. And everything was just like check off every box on it being awesome. No traffic. It was phenomenal. And so then I get to the point where I'm supposed to turn, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna keep going because this is a really amazing road. And then I get to the second part where I need to turn here. And then I just kept going. And then I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And then I got to the point at which I have to turn around now because by the time I get back, it's almost going to be dark. And so then I'm headed back. I run into a dude who tells me that I've got to take this little detour. And the whole time I am just stressing to the max because I know I should not take this detour. It's like a 10-mile detour, which is basically, and it was a lot of climbing. So I think it was adding close to 45 minutes to the ride.
But you still didn't have service? Because if you could have just sent a message.
I didn't know that I didn't have service. I shared my location with you. I thought everything was... I did not know that you were sitting there
How
steaming.
would I... And I wasn't sitting there steaming, but I definitely was thinking it would have been nice to know. But how am I supposed to know you're, like... okay, well, now I see he's way out there. Like, that doesn't make any sense, me seeing your location.
No, I know. And maybe deep down I'm thinking if I do text you, then you'll be, I don't know. I was just so enjoying the ride and enjoying everything, but knowing that the more that I'm enjoying the ride, the more that I'm going to have to eat crow when I come back. But I get to the top of this climb, and the view is just unreal. It's actually part of the Tour of California route. So it's super legit. I come down, I get back, and I'm just thinking everything's fine and dandy. You are in the hotel of your choice, in the city of your choice. I thought you were going to the beach, and then I get back and you're holding Winter. She's screaming, and you're not happy. Your face is a frown. And so I was like, well, shit. And then I tell you, we've got to go to dinner in 5 minutes, which to me, not a big deal, right? I throw a hat on, and that's that. But what does that mean to you?
I mean, that's really what made me so upset, was not you being gone for so long, but that the second you get back, I've been holding Winter for a half an hour. She's been crying. I can't get her to take a nap. All I'm thinking is, well, when he gets back, I can get ready, and then we can go to dinner. But then I'm starting to get ready, and then you said, we need to leave now. So it's just like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
So it just really made me feel like you don't care anything about me and my feelings. Because you were late, you didn't even say sorry, or you didn't even say anything about you being gone for that long. And then you were just like, let's go.
Well, I mean, that's not in any way is that how I actually feel, or is the purpose or meaning behind it. I didn't really know that you were that mad for a while. So I came back again thinking you had gone to the beach, thinking that you had gotten my location so that you knew where I was. So I didn't think anything was wrong until it just slowly, you were very, very pissed. So we go to dinner, and Adam took us to a really nice restaurant that actually had a pretty good vegan dish. Or I don't think it was vegan; it was vegetarian, but they made it vegan for me. But often because you and Nathan aren't fully vegan, mm-hmm. and you like to eat fish.
Yeah.
But sometimes, Chipotle, you're not always that stoked on Chipotle. So getting to eat,
I hate Chipotle.
Blasphemy. So when you get to eat a really nice dinner like this, what did you got some tortured fish that got whacked in the head?
I don't think it was tortured. I think it was from the sea, like local fish that was humanely killed and caught.
A local fish that was like, I love life, until Kristen said, order me up one.
I think it was old, like at the end of its life. So,
It died right as it floated into the net?
Yes, naturally. Yeah, so we got fish, and it was delicious, for sure.
When you and Athen are sharing a meal, because a lot of times you will share a meal, and I'll give a little bit of my stuff to Athen. Mm-hmm. Is he, as he's getting older and he's eating more of your food? Is that like, what's the competition like on when you guys have to share?
Yeah, it's definitely nice sometimes if he doesn't like it, and then it's like more for me.
It is good. I mean, it's always good for me because I just eat plants, and you guys don't ever really dig on it. So then we had the good dinner, but you're still steaming, and then
well, I mean, you just had never said anything, so then I really felt bad about myself that, like, I don't even deserve an apology, or like, I'm sorry that I was so late, or anything like that. So then I'm really feeling bad about myself. Then I'm at dinner sitting next to people I don't even know, and just a little uncomfortable. Where you think it's like you're treating me to this fancy dinner that you should be super happy about.
I think that I've bought you a really awesome hotel in the place that you want to be, in an awesome city, take you out to a really expensive dinner, and the whole time you're just like, he hates me. It's like, shit. Like, what? I don't know what the heck's going on. Obviously, I was picking up on your Debbie Downerness and realizing whatever. But I did. I apologized. I apologized profusely. And then we got her back, and then we went for a little walk around the hotel to try to find the sauna with Winter because she wasn't going to sleep. And Athen just hung out in the room and watched cartoons. So we were kind of trying to take in that a little bit. But then the next day, Sunday, I really felt like I was in debt to you, so I needed to try to repay or make it up to you. So I honestly didn't think about the races until the very last minute, which I got there, I think, with 2 minutes to spare. But what did we do? We packed.
We drove to see where you rode.
What did you think of that?
That was super beautiful.
It was cool. It's not as cool when you drive there, though.
Yeah. And it was neat. I felt like that was neat staying in Carmel Valley because I've never seen that part of Carmel. And so it was really neat to experience a different part of Carmel.
And then it was so funny because you're so basic that on the way back to the hotel after going to that little Vista Point, what did it say? It said like organic farmers market.
Well, I just saw like a tent and I knew.
Oh man.
It's a Sunday morning and there's a tent.
There's a tent in a park. But it was like all the buzzwords, right? Because it was called the Village or something.
Yeah.
There was like an area, it was called the Village. And then there was a farmer's market and it said all organic. And your eyes are just as big as they could be.
I love farmer's market, especially when you're out of town because you're going to get fruit and we're hungry. And then you're probably going to get a baked good. And then you get to see all the things that the local people make, and offer. That's cool.
It's okay. I mean, it's not, it's all the same. If you've been to one farmer's market, you've been to every farmer's market. So we go back, we pack up everything out of the hotel because that's it, right? We got to check out of the hotel and then we're going to go to the beach and I'm going to go race bikes forever. So we go to the farmer's market, we get some stuff. We get, I think you got a pie, I got some beets, that sort of thing.
Strawberries, stuff for breakfast.
Strawberries. And so then we're about to leave and you said, hey, because Adam from SP2 Life, the Spirulina, he lives in Carmel and he was like, hey, you can hang out at our house. Because I was trying to get you a place to hang out so you didn't have to hang out at the races. Mm-hmm. Trying to make up for the other, for Saturday.
Why is everything making up? Why isn't just you want to be... Like, why do you have to make it up? Like, you know what I mean?
No, I
Trying
don't.
to find you a place because you're thinking of us, sir.
I'm always thinking of you. And I'm
know,
always trying...
I know you are, but why do you keep saying make it up? Like, I got to make it up.
Well, I just need to make sure... I'm always going to try to find the most comfortable place for you to be during a race. That's always. But... to the point of where I say I will just ride my bike from wherever we are to the race. You don't even have to go. You don't have to drop me off. I'm always trying to make sacrifices in that respect to allow you more comforts. So, but I'm just saying, if I can get you to be able to hang out at a house in Carmel, the actual town where you want to be, I'm thinking that's extra bonus points. Then maybe you won't be so angry.
You make it seem like I'm this, like, high class, you know what I mean? Like, we go to races, and then me and Athen, I take him to find some things to do. That's the norm, right? Mm-hmm. We drive to the race, I then take care of Athen, and go find activities for him. That's how it always is. It just is making it sound like I'm this, like, brat. You know what I mean?
You're not a brat. No, not at all. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. But other racers and their significant other hang out at the race the entire time. And they're by the side of their man the entire time. They're supporting them through from start to finish.
And
I don't
feel like
expect-
I did that when I could, but then it gets to a point where Athen can no longer hang out at the race. Like now he's a better because he's a little bit older, but I don't. It just get like when you do the crits in the towns, like we're always right there, but it just gets to the point where you have to think of the children and
Oh, for sure, and it's very difficult. But I'm saying that I'm always trying to allow you to, like, I never expect you to be there or to hang out. I never think you'll be at the start or the finish of the race. It's never a thing, hey, I want you to stay and watch this race. I want you to be as comfortable as you can be. So I'm not trying to make you sound like high maintenance, would you? But so
but I'm not thinking about me and my comfort. I'm thinking about Athen.
well, and that's why you're an awesome mom. That's why you're a stellar mom, because you're always thinking about
Me and my comfort would be sitting at the race, watching the race, reading my book, being right there. That would be like I'm getting a tan, it's nice. But obviously that's not what Athen wants to do.
no. But as he gets older, I think it'll get easier. So nonetheless, Sunday I've got 2 races. One starts at 12:40, and the next one starts at 3 something. So we head down to the beach, which we actually dropped our car off at Adam's place in Carmel, which was like amazing. It was right down the street, which is so crazy. Carmel has no street addresses. It's not like, hey man, come to my house. It's 452 Carmel Valley Street. It's just a name of the house. All the houses in that village have a name, like Good Vibes. What was one, like Wet Dog or something?
Oh,
though?
yes.
There was
That was
some,
weird.
There was some really nice house, baller house, and then the name of the house was
What was it?
Dog Breath. I think it was
Oh,
Dog.
yeah.
It was Dog Breath.
Like, do you think you can change the name or no? 'Cause-
I don't
and
know.
Who made
dude.
the names?
Yeah, Dog Breath is a horrible name for if you were gonna name your house. But so I asked Adam, like, hey man, can you give me your address? I'll put it into Google Maps. And he's like, no, you just got to come to Good Vibes. Cool, I'll be there. But we find his house, and Adam was so awesome, just like totally giving us hospitality. And then we just literally walk down right to the beach, and that part of the beach, Carmel beach, it's like almost in a cove. So then there's not so much wind. It's warm.
It's always perfect.
It's perfect.
Because always at your races, the beach, Athen always wants to go to the beach, and it's cold and it's windy. Like, you literally have to be wrapped up in a blanket. So Carmel is the perfect beach.
It is really nice. And the sand squeaked. The sand was like squeaking, which was fun. And Winter...
Fun?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to have squeaky sand. So Winter's hanging out, digging in the sand, eating the sand, having a blast. She loves, so far, she seems to really love hanging out at the lake and the beach. Athen's running around and playing. And so, but I haven't at all to this point even thought about the race because I want to be as present with you guys as possible. But then also, and this is, I think, something to talk about, is, I'm trying to film it. And I don't want to always... It's neat to film the family stuff. It's really cool to film it and to show it because it's just cool. It's not only cool for the channel, but it's cool for me to look back, and I think you to look back sometimes on these events that we did. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see, like home videos, right?
Yeah.
But how does it bother you when we're sitting there and it's like I go and set up the camera and then I come back and I sit down next to you and give you a kiss and then walk back to the camera and turn the camera off and set? I mean, what is, like, do you even notice that anymore? Or like, what is...
I feel like I don't really notice it anymore. And I feel like it doesn't bother me. I feel like it would bother me, like, if I feel like, are you only giving me a kiss because you're filming it? Like, would you normally be doing that? You know what I mean? Things like that kind of make me think.
When I give you a big old hug and then you're like, oh, he loves me. And then I'm like, hold on, take two. Gotta do that one again. Yeah. So they're all running around playing in the beach, having a good time. And so then I have to leave to go to my race, which now at this point, I've planned it to where I'd be about 10 or 15 minutes early. But Adam called me and he was like, hey man, there's a huge traffic accident. The traffic's just a dead standstill out of Carmel to Monterey, which it's like only a 10-minute drive from where I was to where the race is. But then that was horrible because it was like, oh my goodness. And so I'm freaking out.
Then were you going to be mad at us?
No, I wasn't going to be mad at you. I guess I got a little frustrated because when we got back, you were like, hey, I need all these things out of the car and I need all this stuff prepared. There was a good laundry list of things I needed to do before I could take the car. And, which it's not your fault. Like that, if I had better time management, I guess, but I wanted to spend more time with you guys just hanging out at the beach, and I know that you think it's like super stressful with winter in Athens, and it totally is, right? But also, there's never, like, you do get to sit out on the beach and just not really worry about anything in that moment. Like, you can exist more in that moment more often, especially if winter is copacetic and Athens is handled. For me, I'm always worrying about you guys and where you guys are going and what we're doing and where we're, like, so much is going on in my head that there's very few times where I get to actually enjoy sitting on the beach.
Well, I feel like you don't ever want to sit on the beach. I mean, I feel like you spend hours on a bike ride where you're not thinking about things and you're thinking about your bike ride and how great it is, where you could spend those 2 hours sitting on the beach.
You're right on, and I think said it in the video, which was on Saturday when we first got there, that I could have just went and sat by the pool or taken you guys to the beach and just not even thought about it. But it's a little bit difficult for me to. It doesn't seem that much fun to just sit on the beach and do nothing. I just more mean. There are things that I feel like, all you have to do is worry about winter, which is that's a huge job. But once she's handled, there's not much else that you have to worry about because at least I like to think that I'm worrying about it for you. So when I left and went out to the race, what did you and Athen do after that?
Then we walked to the house and got changed, and I think I made winter bottle. It's nice to have somewhere to go because you have to heater up a bottle, and it's kind of difficult finding that somewhere. And then change your diaper. So we got all changed and got all the sand off us, and then we walked to town, which was just like, I don't know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the little village. And then we walked around all the little shops, and we probably did that for a couple hours. I think 3 hours, because I fed her, and then on the way back I had to feed her again.
Did she nap during that time? Or was she just hanging out in her stroller?
She hung out in her stroller, and then she napped maybe like the last half hour.
So I get to the race super late. It's so late because of the traffic jam. I was just sitting in traffic, fuming. I hit up Chris, and I was like, Chris, dude, I'm so late. Chris, stop the race. It's good. Just let him know I am on my way. I get there. Google Maps was having me go a stupid way, and I kind of took like a sneaker way, and but this is a part where it's so much stress. It's so much stress, like being late and trying to get there and handle you guys and be with the family, that I feel like that kind of affects me mentally on how I perform during the race. And so I kind of have to just think about it. It's like, it's just fun. It's whatever. I'm not really like, but if I had more focus, I think I would often do a whole lot better. And so it's kind of a fight between, do we do this? Do I just go and race just by myself and focus heavily on it, or do we make this a trip? Because I don't know. I mean, I didn't do well in both my races. I felt like I didn't do well hanging out with you guys. I didn't feel like you were super pumped the whole time. You know what I mean? And so, like, I kind of alluded to this in the video, of which when you try to balance everything, everything is not as great as it should be. So the riding wasn't as good as it should have been. I wasn't as present with you and the family as I should have been. Work suffered. Everything was just like trying to do it all, and you can't do any of it. Like, is that you share that same thought?
About you?
Just about the trip. I mean, would you have rather not gone on the trip?
I mean, no. I think that we had a lot of fun, and Athen had a lot of fun. For me, just the biggest thing was me feeling down about myself, and so that really put a hinder on my whole trip. So it's not that I was mad that you weren't giving us more time, because what you were giving us is the norm, but it was even more than what you normally do. But I just wasn't feeling good about myself, because just kind of what happened the night before just made me feel down about how you feel about me, and so that's what I was feeling.
But I mean, I love you. I mean, I hope, right? Jeez.
Yes, obviously I know that, but it just made me feel really down.
Well, you're emotional. Your emotions get the best of you sometimes, so you let that kind of ruin your whole trip. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, if I had just gone by myself, would you have felt worse? Like, what me trying to balance all of this stuff, is that a benefit? Because at the end of the day, when I look back on it, sometimes it makes me think, boy, we should have not done this.
I don't feel like that. I thought it was fine.
Because as long as you're happy and you are enjoying it, then it's all worth it. But if I took you to Monterey and to Carmel, and we hung out on the beach, and I took you to this Vista Point, took you to dinner, and we spent this time together, and then I raced my bikes, it's all worth it if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I thought that we had a nice trip. I feel like my mood would have been so much better if you just would have, like, said I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I never felt like that. So.
I said sorry so many times. I don't think you did. Oh my goodness. I said sorry so many times. I apologized so much after dinner. We had a big talk after dinner.
I know, and you kind of made me feel like it was me. Like,
oh my god. Well, because
okay, moving on.
You said you were going to the beach.
I don't want to rehash it. We already recorded what happened.
I know, but I just want to stamp the thing that you said you were going to the beach.
Okay.
So how would I know? How could I read?
Because you read your text message. What do you mean?
I'd read a text message that said where was I?
No, I said the beach is how long do you think you'll be gone? The beach is too far for us to come and be back in an hour. We would rather wait and go with you. That's what the message said.
I bet that's what the message was. I was wrapped up, and that's I would say that finding balance is, dude, it's hard to do. It's not an easy thing. There's so much to worry about, and I think that often I fail because I don't want to say I put cycling before everything, but I really have a difficult time enjoying anything
without you. Yes, so that is you putting cycling. Like, the second we get anywhere, you are gone. So I understand what you're saying. You don't know if you want to say, like, you put cycling before us, but
and I guess it technically comes before you in a certain fashion, because if I don't at least get a little bit of a ride in, I don't feel great. I feel anxious. I feel like I can't relax. I feel like I haven't earned the right to do anything.
But then you can't say that you never have a chance to just sit on the beach or, get
No,
that
I
downtime.
I get it. I totally understand that I'm sacrificing that to go and ride for sure. You know.
But, I mean, you definitely work hard and you deserve to have that time alone.
It's not alone. It's not a matter of me being alone. It's not that I want to be alone.
You with the road?
If you could be out there with me, that would be awesome. I think it's just the physical exertion. So me sitting at my desk and staring at a computer for so long, there's just something that eats me up inside, that I want to feel active and move. And so when I don't, if like we had done the trip without the bike, you would have enjoyed it infinitely amounts better. But I would have, it wouldn't have been.
Well, who knows how it would go, because maybe you would be in a bad mood and maybe you would be feeling lazy because you didn't ride and then you don't want to do anything, or you know what I mean?
Well, it's not that I wouldn't want to do anything. I'm just saying for me, I wouldn't feel, it wouldn't be a great trip for me if I didn't have the bike. But I definitely think there needs to be more trips without the bike. I think this trip really kind of showed me just how hard it is to try to balance everything. And so it needs to just be one or two things. I think I could handle you guys and me just going out for a casual spin, but I tried to force in a training ride and racing, 2 races, right? And so that was...
Well, and I think time has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
that was the big factor, is obviously when you went riding, but you know what I mean, just when you got back and that we immediately had to go. Like, if you got back and it was like, okay, we're gonna go in half an hour, I'll take Winter and you can go get ready, like, it wouldn't have been anything.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And so, that's on me to learn from that, that experience, on that if I'm going to make plans, that I need to give you proper time to get ready and to get your mind right. My mind was right. It got very right over 2.5 hours. Your mind is not right. And getting on the same page is so difficult to do. Balance is difficult, but being on the same page with you, before Winter, before kids, it was very easy to do. We were always kind of on the same page. Then with Athens, it sort of stirred things up, but we got the hang of it. Now with Winter, you are in a mental space that's completely different than mine, because you'll be with her all day long, and then I'm working all day long, and or doing whatever, and then I'm able to go for a little bike ride, clear that out, and you, by the time I get back, you're so frazzled. And so we're trying to work through that to where I take Winter pretty much for the rest of the night, and we've done that a couple times, and that seems to help a little bit. But you got to communicate with me. You got to tell me that. I think that's in every relationship. Women don't communicate what they want to their man. They just want their man to read their mind and just know. And some men can do that, but you can't just expect me to, if I got back from the ride and you had said, hey, look, I need 30 minutes. I would have called Adam and said, dude, we're there in 30 minutes. We're not there right now. But I didn't know that was a huge issue for you.
Yeah.
Yes. You're still...
I just for some reason always feel like it's gonna get turned around on me or something. I feel like I can never say.
But you can't feel that way. You can't feel that way. You have to just tell me what it is that you feel. Mm-hmm. There's never been a time where you're like, I feel this way, and then I'm mad or anything. That's never happened. So I do the race. I do my first race, and I honestly really felt like I had a good chance to win. It was a 2-3s race, and so my fitness was on point. Everything was really good. Um, I just wasn't able to put down surges or make efforts enough to break everyone off my wheel. So it's really weird. My power was really high. I was able to put out a lot of power, but it was a very slow flow into the power, so I couldn't get any gaps. And Chris Kane went off the front for like 4 laps by himself, and then came back, and then basically ended up breaking away solo again on the last half lap. And I really felt like me and Chris could have gotten away together, but I just wasn't able to get away from the pack. So that was a little bit frustrating. Also, there was a couple guys in the race that they're younger dudes, and they watch the channel, and they see me hyping myself up, and then it's like one of them beats me. Just like, that's all. I don't know, man. I was like really. I felt dumb for a little bit, honestly. Felt kind of like I hyped myself all up. I put myself on YouTube to look all super cool, and then don't do very well. It's just an internal thing for me that I gotta like scrub out. But then so after that, there was a good gap between the first race and the second race. And you guys are down in the village walking around doing your thing. Did you go back to the house after you walked around? How long were you back at the house for?
Well, I think we walked around for 3 hours, and then we went back to the house. We were maybe there for half an hour before you came. I was expecting us to be there for a while because you were gonna.
So I went for a little spin before the second race, but then the second race had 4 guys from one team. It was the P.1 4 guys from one team. One of them super fresh, Matt, and very strong, and then Hannah, and one other specialized guy. And so it was kind of stupid. It's like, dude, this is so dumb. This is a 90-minute race, and we've got 4 teammates. And the specialized kid, I think his name was Nick, he wasn't going to, like, it might as well have been 5 versus 1, because he wasn't going to work with me. And I really felt that we should have made some sort of pact before the race. Like, hey, dude, let's be teammates. Even though we're not teammates, let's be teammates. We didn't really say any of that. And then from the gun, that team started attacking. And I think I went with 3 moves. I covered 3 moves, but it's just like, dude, they're gonna do that. They're just gonna whistle tip you the whole time. I think the third move that went, I went to chase it, and the specialized guy was just like, dude, just let it go. It's like, no, I'm not gonna just let it go. We're lap 1 into this race that I paid money to do. I'm not gonna. That's just letting the race go away, and obviously, by me chasing it, I'm making myself lose the race anyway. It's a lose situation. But I want to race the bikes, dude. We came all this way, paid all this money, I want to race. And then so they counterattacked me for the 4th time. I didn't cover it. Anyway, I have a whole video about it. You watch it. But so then I pulled out of the race. I think 3 laps in. I pulled out super early because it just was dumb. There's no point. It's just going to happen over and over and over again until I'm riding by myself. So I hop back in the car and come back and get you guys. And I'm pretty down about the whole thing. Honestly, I came in with really good fitness, had really bad results, wasn't super pumped about how that race played out. And so when I come back to you, this whole trip feels like it's more been around racing. And I come back to you and I'm not 100% happy. How does that anger you? I really try to do a good job of not showing you that I'm not that happy.
No, I don't think it angers me that you're not happy with how you did or how it was.
It not at all. I feel like if I come back and I'm unhappy with the race, you're super pissed because it's like, well, dude, we came all this way, we did all this.
I mean,
lot
it
of the
does
focus
make
is
me
on.
super pissed, but I guess sometimes I mean, I didn't feel frustrated there, but sometimes it does when we're at the race, when it's cold outside, when we're having to sit in the car or whatever, and then you're not even happy with how things are. But I need to remember that that's not
When's
very
the last
fair.
time that you were sitting in a cold and it was cold and windy and you were sitting in a car? Like,
Well, I don't feel like I've been frustrated with it in a while. I feel like when I used to go and me and Nathan and I would be sitting in the car when it would be cold or whatever, like that's when we stuck around more when he was little. And then you would get frustrated a lot. And then it's like, why are we sitting here?
yeah.
So then I kind of started doing our own thing so I don't feel that way. Because me and Athen figure out our own thing to do, and he has fun, so the trip's always going to be worth it at some point, you know what I mean?
So when I say, hey, we're gonna go to a race, when we're gonna go do this race, it's out of town. What's your mental checklist on being prepared for that? Like, are you gonna Google places around there? Like, so for another family, like if someone else is listening, that's a mom and doesn't go to the races that often, and what's like your pro tip, your pro mom tip?
Yeah, I always Google what there is to do with kids around there. I mean, we normally would go to, like children's museums. They normally have at some of the places where we go. It's nice if it's downtown because then we can walk around for a little bit. I mean, we can go to the race for a little bit, but he's always going to be hungry. He's going to be bored. We can't really walk around that much. So finding something to do, finding something to go eat at, things like that are nice to do.
So we get back in the car and we're headed home, and we stop at Chipotle. What is your love-hate relationship with Chipotle?
I mean, I guess love would be that you love it, but I just don't really like Chipotle. I always get the sofritas, which are good, but it's so spicy that my mouth is just on fire the whole time. I don't really like that. The white rice is weird to me. Like white rice, I like with soy sauce and like that type. But then I like real Mexican food, like refried beans and enchiladas or, tacos or things like that. That's real Mexican. And so that just doesn't make me love Chipotle for that reason. I don't know. And it's always hot.
What do you mean?
It's always spicy.
Spicy. Well, the sofritas are spicy.
Yeah, but even like the black beans are spicy or whatever beans.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sort of a bummer being plant-based because there's really nothing else on the road that you can get.
Yeah. And so I would never say like, no, I'm not going to Chipotle. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's the best thing for you.
It's the only thing.
Yeah, it's the only thing. And so I don't think I ever complain about it.
No. And if we do not get Chipotle, because I would much rather honestly come home and cook. I would rather just cook our own food because I like our own food better. But sometimes that is, you don't want to do that after a long weekend. It's you just want to have food right now and have someone else make it. But we get back and a lot of times I'll try to cook, even though
I think you do cook a lot of times.
a lot of times I do cook, even though you slept through the car the entire time. You were sleeping and I was not sleeping, and so I'm exhausted by the time we get back. But it's that, I think it's that give and take and that sacrifice or that compromise, knowing that it was only possible to really have this trip because of your ability to be a mom. I can't race, I can't ride, I can't do all those things like without you. Like often I'll think, without Kristen, what would be happening right now? And it's like, oh my goodness, that would be so difficult to have 2 kids right now. Like there's no way that I'm riding my bike. There's no way I'm racing my bike. There's no way I'm working. There's just no way to do anything other than manage the kids. And so I try to give back in any aspect that I can. And so that's cooking dinner, you know? Is there anything else that you want to say about that trip? Is there any like hidden little gem or something that didn't get shown?
I got very embarrassed because I was cooking their food in their house.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. That was funny.
It was like one of those things where everything was just kind of not working out. So it was almost, Winter was sleeping, but she was stirring when we were in town, and it was time for her to have her bottle. I didn't have the milk with me. It was in the fridge at the house. So then we needed to start heading back, but Athen was starving. I also was hungry. So then I was trying to look on my phone of places to eat while we're walking around town, and just they're all like super fancy restaurants, nothing really to go. So then I had to get back. She was waking up. So then we walked back to the house. I got her bottle. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I could just order some food, like pizza or something for Athen, because Tyler was going to be gone until like 6 or whatever time your race was going to be over. So then I tried to figure out the pizza. It was going to take like an hour for them to deliver it to us. So then I was just looking in their cupboard for something to cook for Athen, and I was cooking macaroni and cheese, and then they came home.
That's so
Which
funny.
is so embarrassing.
So
like,
embarrassing.
I normally wouldn't be digging around in people's cupboards.
Because you had to dig. I mean, you had to dig, like, because you don't know where the pots and pans are and where.
Yeah.
So you're snooping, which I know you, and you love to snoop. So you're probably just like free Snoop Fest right now. Because if they do catch you, you have an excuse. It'd still be embarrassing, but you have a pretty good excuse. So, right on. Well, sweetie, thank you so much for staying up late and recording the first Family in the Forest podcast. We'll probably, again, I'd love to do one of these for every race day vlog, a little behind the scenes. But maybe we just talk about, what's going on in our family adventures. Having a family is a difficult thing to manage a family properly. I've always said that if it seems easy, you're doing it wrong. Like it's a thankless job. Your kids tell you suck all the time, and like they're
What?
well, Athen, he like doesn't ever say like thank you so much. You're an
yeah.
awesome dad. Like he says, give me a sandwich. The other morning, right? This morning, or when was it? Just recently.
Oh, yeah.
He woke up
I
and
think
he's
on
like,
Sunday.
give me a sandwich, Mom. This is so. Where's my sandwich, Mom?
I think it's hard because we're both here all the time. Like, you working from home, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of never ending, it seems like.
Yeah.
Where most people, they would get a little break.
To go to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something that people think, man, it's awesome that you get to stay at home. And that is like it's a thing that a Kratos almost, a line in the sand that it's drawn when having a kid. I said, I got to be home all the time. Like, we're not going to pay daycare. We're not going to pay someone thousands of dollars a month to raise our kid. It was very important for us to stay home, which is, I love it. It's amazing. But it is a really difficult thing to do because you never have that moment away. And when Athens started going to school, that changed a little bit, for sure. But there's no rest. There's just, it's always go, 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 go. And, when you look back on it, it's absolutely 1,000% worth it. But when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the weeds and it's been a hard day and your kid's screaming, man, it's you almost wish sometimes you could just go to work. And for me, that's getting on the bike and riding. So I can't imagine how hard it is for you because you don't get to do that. You don't get to ride away.
Yeah, but luckily Winter is so stinking cute that it gives me so much more patience. Like, I'm so appreciative of her and that I get to be her mom, and so it really just makes every day, makes it special for me, and so it makes it a little easier, where I feel like it could be, I don't know, I could feel a lot worse, you know what I mean? A lot more overwhelmed. But I'm just so thankful for her.
Pro tip, don't have an ugly baby. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. This was Family in the Forest with Tyler and Kristen. Basically turned into like a marriage counseling session there for a little bit. but here's what I'll say about that is I honestly think showing more real life aspects, dude, that's more
relatable.
It's more relatable, and I think it's more healthy. It's healthier than showing, it's hard sometimes. You can't really show a lot of this stuff on YouTube. But in this podcast, I want it to be more real and raw because it's healthier to see that other people have issues and that they can overcome those issues versus when you read in a magazine or you watch a movie or whatever, no one has any problems whatsoever. Everything's perfect all the time. That when you have a moment where it's not perfect, you think that there's something infinitely wrong with you, and it's not the case. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and you just have to manage those. But we often don't get to see other people's dirt.
Yeah. Well, like Facebook. Remember when people would be like this picture perfect life, and then the next day it's like divorced or they're with another person, and it's like, what? Yeah,
you're like, whoa, I thought you were... because they're never talking about their insecurities or their issues or whatever. So this Family in the Forest is going to be... I'd love to have it be pretty raw. I'm very confident in our relationship. We've done a pretty good job so far, and so...
Are we not supposed to cuss, though?
Yeah, you did drop an F-bomb, which I'll probably bleep out.
Okay.
But... you got a mouth of a sailor there, babe. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Family in the Forest.
Yep.
Oh, snap.
Just used to saying it. What are we going to say at the end?
I don't know.
Hey.
This is Tyler.
And Kristen.
This is the Family in the Forest podcast.
And we're so excited that you're here.
Can't wait for this journey.
With you.
That's so good. That's so good. That was take one. That was perfect.